I know many people haven't done as much research, but we have to realize where I have to realize who I'm, what side are we on, who, what will are we aligning more with. And the more research you do, the uncanny canon doctrine, it tells you. So I'm just going to give you a little short spiel. What I said earlier, piggyback on what I said earlier about the source, the spark, or whatever. And what are we choosing? There are two beings that choose. One has helped mankind to learn of both sides, the fallen state, well as other angels. When they came down here, they did the same thing. The women learning divination, all that kind of things. But you got to wonder, why do they feel compelled to fall when the moment they came to the earth? Is it that intoxication of freedom? But their freedom led to more destruction in the end. It led to problems. It led to some liberation, but it led to issues. More liberation, but more problems arise from it. And the so-called divine had to clean up the mess of his angels and other people. The divine spark, or whatever you want to call it. What's the other word? Can't even think of right now because I'm being interrupted, but it's okay. Y'all figure it out. There's two gods. There's a God and then a guide. People tend to be more celebratorial when it comes down to that God because it gives them what they want of the flesh, of the material, of this realm, of the life. One helps with the life, and one wants to free you from the life, to return you back to oneness. There we go. Back to the source before evil, before the good mutated, before creation, before the evil, before the sin. You just gotta want that. When you do things like procreate or whatever, you are doing the will of the one that helped you to fly. You're not doing the will of the divine spark. And it's apparent that some of y'all prefer to give in to the God that helped you to fall, the angel, basically, because it's like it's giving what you want. Well, the material, but then when you pass on, you can't bring none of that with you. You can bring the sin with you. But then you get trapped in a reincarnation cycle because you get the need to sent back to the light. But with this God, the divine spark, he's not going to bring you back to the light. Not of his own volition. The only time it happens is because people continuously doing the will of the God that tempted Adam and Eve to fall. If you just gotta stop giving birth, you'll stay with the spark, or the spirits won't be forced into flesh. But the problem is that when people procreate, some of them, their objective is not only just to give birth and force sparks into flesh, into the life, but to also do the will of the one that helped them to fall. That God, that angel, the one that tempted Adam and Eve to eat of the fruit, the first human. So it's like a double edge, like a double attack on the God, on the source, the divine spark. Because not only are you're going against him, deliberately rebelling against God, the divine spark, the oneness, you're doing the will of the one who helped you to fall. By stripping more sparks, fragments from the divine, from the oneness spark, and recruiting it into its kingdom. So it's two things you're doing. You're betraying them by birthing, and you're betraying them by doing the will of Gadre'el. The will to reincarnate into its kingdom, which is unfortunate, is just plain, because it's taken over the moment Adam and Eve ate of the fruit. They lost what they called it, their dominion, but it's supposed to be gained back because of a Messiah of Christ. But let's say it like this: they still doing the will of the one that helped them to fall. Unfortunately, a lot of people still haven't figured it out, or they have, and then they don't care. They deliberately do it in a way. But the oneness is always working out things for its children to return back to the spark, to return back to the actual home of our original home of the spirit. So that is of the actual truth. So it's about going distinct, of course, to the truth and to the oneness. But people got to understand it and slowly detach from the lies, the feel goods of sin and evil, of desire. Because that is what leading y'all to complications and uncertainties. You have to fight for rights, take away rights, fight for rights, and all these different anomalies that comes with life. But the divine oneness, God wants to free you forever from the abuse, from all abuse, exploitation, manipulation, all debts, problems, everything that comes with life. You just got to choose with it. You have sovereign right, and you've been given the information. You just got to exercise it and choose the actual source, the actual divine spark, God, oneness, and not the one that helped you to fall, not the one that coerced you to fall. And I'm telling you, from research and meditation, observation, that that's what it is. That's when you, I don't know how many times I gotta tell you, but it's time for y'all to wake up and realize who you actually more or less online with.